I am officially done all the classes I have to take for my degree.
Wow.
But I do just want, thank you. Wow, amazing. But provided I pass, I guess. But the class that I was just in, I literally have been waiting for the class to be over before I've been sharing this anecdote, which is that everybody in the class has talked about things that are energetically expensive. But nobody has been saying energetically expensive. Everyone has been saying costly, energetically costly, like resource heavy. And I'm like, just one person say energetically expensive. It needs to happen.
Did you do it?
No.
If I was there, I would have done it for you.
I am well aware of that. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Midlight Crisis, a real podcast hosted by three grown-up biologists revisiting books from our teens, and it's totally cool. I am one of your hosts, Sophie, and today I have been genetically recombined with a bird that has a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only 2%. Where do I put that in there? I don't know. It's the weird part.
It's somewhere different every time.
It's not where I put it, that's for sure. And okay, so the bird that I have been genetically recombined with today is a time-stopping rainbow pelican.
That's awesome.
Pelicans terrify me, but I do like that.
Are terrifying.
They're so scary.
Truly, just imagining a rainbow pelican just like
that's also
hurts your eyes and also scary.
We'll try to eat your capybaras.
Yeah. And you can't get away from it because it's time stopping.
Yeah.
Just the worst case
That's
scenario.
A nightmare.
Yeah. Today
Absolute
I'm 2%
nightmare.
Sam's nightmare.
No, I remember I was in Florida and I saw pelicans for the first time up close, and I distinctly looked at those birds and I was like, that's a dinosaur. And I just walked away. I was like, I cannot. They're terrifying. And they were right where the manatee was, and I wanted to go play with the manatee.
No, they were probably trying to eat the manatee. I bet.
They were, yeah.
That's how they
also,
do.
PSA, don't touch manatees. It's illegal.
No. When I say play, I meant stare at it lovingly from the dock.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
But I wanted to make it
for
clear.
everyone else.
Yes. No, I was just gonna stare lovingly at it and maybe cry a little.
Yeah. Unless you're a pelican, then you're
Understandable.
allowed.
Yeah.
I think it's still a crime when they do it. They just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, birds are protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, and mammals are protected by the Marine Mammal whatever.
Marine Mammal Protection Act.
So who wins?
Well, are pelicans migratory birds?
The Migratory Bird Treaty Act covers all birds except for game birds.
Oh, so if someone shoots the pelican, then it becomes a game bird and it's no longer protected.
No.
Well,
that's how rules work.
Sorry, no. Sport, like hunting birds, are defined the same way that fish are defined in Canada.
Yeah.
So it's like a predetermined category. Sorry.
And I assume it's as nonsensical as the legal definition of fish.
Something like that.
Yes.
Like, how much fun are they to shoot? That is how you know if they're a sport bird. Anyway, who are you guys?
Well, we're going back. We're going back on track. My name's Sam, and today I am combined with 2% of a telepathic tundra warbler.
Wow. One of those tundra warblers you hear so much about.
Warbler.
Yeah.
But I'm telepathic.
Wow. That's exciting. I'm imagining you as like, have you seen those pictures of like ptarmigans just like buried up to their noses in snow? They're this really fluffy white bird.
They're cute. Probably.
They're really cute.
Okay.
They're not warblers, but that is, I'm picturing that but smaller, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it says, be not afraid into my head.
Be not afraid, I am friend.
Is this a biblically accurate warbler joke, or is that like the mnemonic that you use to remember their bird sound?
Oh, you can't remember a
What?
warbler sound. Absolutely not.
Oh. So wait. So what's the joke?
No, it was just, I was imagining that it would be terrifying to have. Anyway, listen, it barely matters.
Yeah, okay.
In the way that an angel's scary. Anyway, you go.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. My name's Hannah, but today I am genetically 2% recombined with a nuclear fish ostrich.
What?
I don't even know what that is.
Fish ostrich? Like a
fish
flamingo, you
ostrich?
mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess.
More likely to try to kill you.
Wow, terrifying.
And also it's radioactive.
No!
So
a dragon?
A dragon, yes.
I think it's a dragon.
I think it's a dragon. Remember that scene from Aragon where Saphira was underwater and then she would pop up and snatch Urgles in her jaws?
Yeah.
I think it's that.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, awful.
Great.
Anyway.
I've always wanted to be a dragon.
Well, now's your chance. I guess 2% time.
2% chance.
2% chance. Anyway, the reason all of this is happening is because we're reading Maximum Ride, the book about bird kids. You know? How about you guys tell us what we read this week?
Gladly. So, chapter 37 brings us back to Angel's POV and the horrors that the school is inflicting on her. This time, the school has her running through mazes and electrocuting her or burning her feet if she doesn't cooperate. During this chapter, she finished up one of the mazes and is allowed 5 minutes of rest and water while the scientists rearrange the maze. But sucks to be them, because Angel already knows the route, because she can see it in their minds. So your evil science is flawed, buddies. But we'll go more into that later. I have thorough notes. She speeds through the next maze as a result, and at the end collapses on the floor and hears a familiar voice claiming they can't dissect her brain just yet, with a little bit of a laugh, which disturbing.
Ooh.
But besides that, who does that voice belong to? Well, it's the one and only long lost Jeb. So we were all right in remembering he is actually the bad guy.
Who could have foreseen this?
Truly. But then we jump right back into Fang and Nudge POV in chapter 38, where they are searching for Max. We start the chapter with them doing some aerial surveys. So sorry, everybody. We start the chapter with them doing some aerial surveys, looking for signs of Max and Nudge, questioning why they aren't just going back to where they left her and looking there. Fang explains his sensible logic, and Nudge accepts this and continues on flying normally until she notices Tepisco, Arizona, which just so happens to be where her parents are from. Nudge then throws all logic out the window, declares she is going down there, and that Fang can't stop her. And that's it. And then we get into the next chapter. We don't really know what happens there. Hannah?
I'm Hannah. Chapter 30. Chapter 30.
Yeah, you are.
What? You forgot what part of the podcast we were at, didn't you?
I panicked and forgot how to read the summary that I wrote. It's fine. This is a totally normal thing to happen to 30-year-olds.
68 times before.
Yeah, this is episode 69. Nice.
What?
But I should
Buried
have
the
it down
lead
by now.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Chapter 39 is a half-page Gasman chapter. He and Iggy are hanging out in a little cave on top of a cliff, hiding from some erasers, and then Gasman gets an idea, but we don't get to know what the idea is, because chapter 40 is a Max chapter. Wow. Ella goes off to school on a school bus, and Max is left with her mom, Dr. Martinez the vet, who very gently tries to pry information about Max's life out of her, and Max reacts like a traumatized bird kid, but we do get to hear her full name for the first time, because she named herself Maximum Ride after Sally Ride, the astronaut, and
wow,
I guess Maximum because she is just like extra all the time. She's the most, I don't know. We didn't get an explanation for that part.
No.
Can you tell I veered off my script at the end? Great.
Smooth transition.
So smooth.
So smooth. Let's talk about the horrible science that's being done on Angel instead.
Yeah.
Such terrible science.
Literally, like, what is the purpose of this? There's no purpose. It's literally just torture, but James Patterson is pretending it's science.
Yeah.
I want to hear what Sam has to say about it.
Okay, well, from like a purely scientific standpoint. One, I don't remember if we decided this or not. I don't know. Do they know that she can read their minds? Because that's a huge flaw right there.
I don't think so.
It depends if Jeb knows, but I don't know if he knows. I think he knows.
But also depends on if he told them. Although I guess he would. Yeah. Why would he not? Because he's evil.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's like a huge flaw in it, because I'm like, why are you getting somebody to run a maze when they can read your mind and know exactly how to do said maze? Like, whatever. I don't understand. Two, there's no clear, like, what are they measuring? Because at one point, one of the scientists is saying that, oh, I really want to study the effect of stress on her adrenaline levels. So I'm like, what if I just, like, did something even more stressful to her the whole time? And I'm like, my dude, you already have her in a constant state of stress. Anything you do to add more stress isn't going to give you any more information, because, as we've talked about before, there's no baseline for what her adrenaline levels are at a normal, calm state of being, because you're keeping her in a freaking cage. So she's never not stressed. So I don't understand what they're trying to do here, but just that, like, one statement alone by saying, like, oh, I want to, like, study her effect of stress or whatever on her adrenaline levels. I'm like, you clearly don't know how to design an experiment to assess that. So I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah, I was actually going to come in and be like, what do we think this experiment is for? And I was like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, maybe they could be using it as like a preliminary thing where I don't even know, like, maybe do a preliminary experiment to see, like, if you should build a larger experiment out of something. But it's like, she's been running the same thing all day. And it's like, none of it makes sense.
And like the added, like, electrocution and, like, burning of the feet or whatever, it's just flat out torture. It's like, what is the response variable that you could possibly be measuring on her that would cause you to have to electrocute her and burn her feet to, like, encourage her to do a maze? Like, I understand that we're trying to go back into how, like, some scientists use rats and mazes, and I do know that there are things people study with mazes. I am not one of those scientists. I do not know enough on that topic to, like, fully give what they could possibly be studying with this. But, like, that's clearly what they're trying to do, but it makes absolutely no sense, because there's no relation into how they're going to get any useful data out of Angel from doing this to her.
Honestly, like, when I read this, my thought was, there's no actual science here. It's just the most ridiculous, like, over-the-top cartoon villain thing that the author could put in here to prove that these are bad guys.
Exactly.
Like, to me, it doesn't feel like it serves a narrative value. It's literally just, how can we make it abundantly obvious that these guys are evil?
Yeah.
And their only purpose is to be evil.
Yeah.
Although, now that you've said that, or, like, brought up the point that we don't necessarily know if they know that she can read minds. If you assume that they do know that she can read minds, maybe that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to, like, find the threshold that they can push her to, at which point she will go searching through their minds for the correct answer.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because she was running it, like, and struggling beforehand, and it seems like just in this chapter she finally did have that moment where she was like, oh yeah, I can just read their minds. Like, what? So, I mean, maybe, okay, this just popped into my head. I didn't have this thought when I was reading it. Maybe they're giving her a drug that reduces her ability to read minds beforehand, and it only wore off at the end there, and that's why she was able to do it super speedy. That could be one thing.
The old Aragon move.
Yeah.
The old Aragon drug.
The old Aragon drug. No, it's not a bad idea.
It's just a guess. I don't think that's actually what happened, but it could be something that they've put a drug in her that reduces her genetic superpower to the point that she was struggling to run the maze. But again, no need for the torture. I think people use cheese to incentivize rats. So like positive reinforcement, people.
Yeah, I think we're well beyond the part where we understand that negative reinforcement actually doesn't really work. And positive reward systems work much better.
Yeah.
I did try and look up a couple like rat maze experiments.
Yeah.
Again, like much like Sam said, this is not my area.
It's a huge field.
It's a huge field. I don't know what to look up to get the correct answer. But I did just want to talk. This is unrelated, but I wanted to talk about one rat maze experiment that's called the Kerplunk Experiment because it's the first one that comes up.
Okay.
And it's that you get, I mean, it might be kind of related. There's no negative stimuli, but it's just like a rat is like run the same maze over and over and over and over again. And it's the exact same maze every time. And it's basically just to prove that like, if you do something over and over, you get better at it.
Yeah.
And so they go faster, they're quicker at it, they're et cetera, right? And it gets to a point where they do it automatically. And it's like, oh, that's an interesting thing to learn. But the reason it's called the Kerplunk Experiment is because then they wanted to see what would happen if they shortened the maze. And Kerplunk is the sound the rats made when they hit the wall at the end.
Oh, the poor little heads.
Rats are really small. So like they don't cause a lot of damage to themselves when they do that kind of thing. I say with the authority of someone whose pet rats used to like fling themselves off of the top of my head to get to the ground faster.
Oh God. Okay, good to know because I was slightly worried there.
No.
I don't think this
is
relevant, but it's very funny to name it.
Yeah.
It reminds me, like at our aquarium, sometimes the sharks would just like get in the zone and they'd just be like swimming along like the path that they like to swim, and then they'd bump into each other and get super scared. And then because they're sharks and they're big, when they get scared, they scare everybody else around them, and then all of the sharks would get scared, and people visiting the aquarium would be like, oh my God, what happened? And it's like, well, you see that shark bumped into another shark, and everybody panicked.
Nobody was paying attention to where they were going.
Nope.
No, I like something is in my head is there's like infighting between the scientists. Like I think Jeb doesn't agree with how I feel like, I don't know if this is right, but I'm remembering I think that Jeb doesn't tell the other ones that Angel can read minds, but he knows, or something like that, because he thinks they're all stupid and they're not doing the right experiments. But clearly he like still wants them to be in captivity and being listen. Clearly hold on, let me rephrase that. Clearly he wants them to like still be experimented on, but his way or whatever. And the thing that flipped this in my brain is because at the very end it's like, oh, Angel can't hear thoughts from Jeb. And he's got some kind of like thing.
What's up with that?
Some kind of Bella situation going on here.
I was like, is this Renesmee?
Is this Renesmee?
But this also reinforces that they maybe are testing a drug, and that's ultimately that like reduces her ability to either read a person's mind, or like the person having their mind read takes the drug, or either she takes the drug, but maybe Jeb has the drug, and that's, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, but if Jeb hasn't told them that she can read minds, and he's the only one who knows, then why would they?
Well, this is again
have something like that.
I don't know if they know that she can read minds, so it kind of goes back to that whole like there's this big unknown with that. I think
it would literally, I hadn't even thought about it, that they were testing to see at what point she would read their minds, because that is actually a really good explanation for this specific experiment. I still don't have an explanation for the other ones, but
I feel like that, I mean, I hesitate to say that it makes sense because all of this is nonsensical and ridiculous. But I feel like that is the only thing that I've been able to come up with as like a potential justification for why you would torture a child by making her run through a maze with the
hot
threat of pain if she doesn't do it fast enough.
Yeah, electric shocks and
yeah, because she's not going to learn anything if she's being tortured.
Yeah,
but she might become desperate enough to do something.
Yeah.
So if they're trying to make her feel desperate, then I guess this is a way to do that.
Yeah, and it's like I can't tell if it's worse or better.
Yeah.
That it's just like shock value torture rather than actual science.
I'm honestly kind of offended that it's just seeming like torture rather than like evil science.
Yeah.
Which maybe that makes me a bad person, but I'm like, if you're gonna torture a child, or at least do it for science.
Well, I was okay, maybe not that, but if you're going to portray science as evil, at least make it actual science.
Yeah. Have your
that.
science make sense.
Like if you're like it's like, come on, if you're gonna make an argument against science, please make it a good argument and not just torturing children.
Yeah.
This is why like so many people have such issue in believing scientists and stuff, because every media representation of it is a scientist doing horrendously bad science.
Yeah.
Like, can you name a piece of media where you actually saw a scientist doing science in the correct way? Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I could come up with one.
Yeah, I do think if I thought hard enough.
Let me think about it.
Yeah, I think there's probably something. But...
I think in Aquarium of the Dead, actually, they...
Okay, there you go.
No, they didn't.
No, it was bad.
Like...
I think in Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Deep Blue Sea is so bad.
I think in Three-Headed Shark Attack, actually, they do a really good job.
Oh my god.
No, okay. I'm just gonna start listing every shark monster movie that I know. No,
Sharktopus.
Sharktopus is also a good one. So is Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Anyway, they're all good, but none measure up to Sharknado. This is my fan cast about Sharknado now.
No,
everyone else could go home.
I resent this.
Nah, this is for all those times you talked about Star Wars.
Shit.
Let's talk about the next part of this book.
Nudge?
Nudge? Nudge and Fang.
Oh, Nudge.
Oh, Nudge.
There's
not a lot going on upstairs with her, huh?
No.
She's very impulsive.
Yeah.
The thing about these 4 chapters is that we see all of these very traumatized kids reacting in ways to their trauma.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't fully blame you.
No.
But also, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
All at once.
Yeah.
You have to constantly remind yourself that you're reading about children and that they can be this impulsive. Because I was just like, I was just like, this can't be okay. No, this is what's happening. All right.
Yeah. Like, it's just, I feel like as a kid, I was probably like, oh, this is so annoying. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
And then now as an adult, I'm like, yeah, Nudge has had like a very bad spiral in which she's thought that, like, she's had to triage which of her family members is more important to keep alive mentally. And then been like, oh my God, they're all gonna die. Everyone's gonna leave me. I have to go find my birth parents who also abandoned me.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It's a rough time.
Yeah, she goes through this, like, anxiety spiral, which I'm sure we can all relate to. Yeah, like Sophie said about, like, if she had to choose between Max and Angel, she would have to choose Max because, like, Max takes care of them. She's more important. But, like, what if both of them are already dead? And then she bolts off and is like, if Max isn't here, I'm going to need someone to be there for me, which is sad. But that Fang is like, what?
Yeah.
What is that? Like, excuse me?
Where did this, like, because I'm sure this happened over the course of 6 seconds.
Oh,
you know?
100%.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because she's also like, oh, and Fang is helpful, but what if he just leaves because Mac's not there? And then there
Right,
won't be
yeah.
anyone left. And it's like, oh my God, Nudge.
Yeah.
Someone get these children to therapy.
Yeah, I was like, please take a deep breath.
So I can't really blame her as much as I probably did when I was 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
But woof.
Oof.
Everyone, listen, we all play D&D. Everyone knows, don't split the party.
No,
Right.
don't
And
here
split
we
the
are.
party.
Here we
Splitting
are.
it even more.
Oh my God. It's not even going to be a party anymore. The only ones still together are Iggy and the Gas Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine Fang is going to abandon Nudge here.
Yeah.
No. I assume he's going to follow her.
Yeah, I'm just kind of more surprised that this rescue mission to Angel has taken such a wild turn.
Right?
Like, I don't remember it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Max going off and doing this, sure, but then now Nudge going after her parents? Because I know I think someone had guessed this beforehand. I think it might have been you.
Yeah.
And Sophie slightly confirmed, but not really. And I was like, oh, that'll probably be like maybe book 2 or 3, but no, it was just a few mere chapters away, apparently.
Yeah. I guess I had forgotten that, like, because I'm pretty sure I remember more stuff that happens with Max.
Right.
That I think is when she's alone. And so I guess I didn't really think about how Fang and Nudge would also have to be doing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of assumed they would have gone back and tried looking for her earlier, but then I also have to remember that we've been reading this for a while, but it's only been like
a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's you gotta center yourself back in what's happening.
Much like how Twilight only takes place over like 4 days.
That still blows my mind.
We have to remember.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
With a 3-month break right at the end. We have to remember that this is only like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
I know I complained about it before, so I'm gonna keep it brief, but I can't not. I am so annoyed at how they're on this rescue mission and they just all keep like fucking off to do things that are not related to the rescue mission.
Yeah.
Angel is being tortured and like Fang is making friends with birds, Max is playing hero, Nudge is like having a crisis and running off to find her real family. It's like, oh my God, you guys, like Angel.
Yeah.
Please, oh my God, focus.
Part of me is wondering if deep in their traumatized child brains, they're like, well, at least we know, we are familiar with the situation that Angel is in.
Yeah.
You know, like we know what is happening to her right now.
Yeah.
And right now they're in a situation of fully unknown. And so that's why they're more stressed about themselves. I don't know how psychology works.
Me neither.
It makes sense. But this just highlights how important it is to have competent adults around. Because, like, you can't blame them that much. They are children. Like, they don't know any better. And as we've discussed, the trauma is...
Yeah, and also their brains aren't fully developed. Even without the trauma. Like, they're still going to be 11, 14, 8, whatever.
Yeah. So...
But it's still so annoying.
It is. It is.
It's fine. We're like a third of the way through the book. Surely they'll rescue Angel soon.
It's going to be at the end, isn't it? The whole book is going to be the rescue mission.
Yeah, it is. I think. Well, at least we know where Tipisco is now. It's 3 miles plus 98 miles from Las Vegas.
Which is great because it's a fictional place. So like we couldn't just look it up.
No, now we can place it so that when Nudge lands and she's like, oh, there's all these birds around me, we can be like, well, actually birds like that wouldn't be found at this part of Arizona.
We can get extra pedantic about it.
Which is normal.
Just an extremely normal way to read a book.
Yep, that's what we're doing.
Yep.
But anyway, don't be like Fang and don't say someone's crazy when they're having a traumatic meltdown.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not.
I can't believe this 14-year-old doesn't know how to properly handle.
Yeah, right.
An 11-year-old.
14-year-old in a book published in like 2004 when language.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
Was a little different.
Men didn't talk about their feelings.
I mean, he literally the next sentence says, "Come on, let's talk about it."
That's true,
So
actually.
he did try.
What? That is true.
Yeah.
I take it back. I forgot about that.
I think I'm going to be the Fang apologist on this podcast.
No, he hasn't demonstrated anything to be mean about. I was more being mean about the fact that men in 2003.
About men in general.
Yeah.
Just about men.
Yeah.
men.
And I
Wow.
just forgot that, yeah, Fang actually was, hey, let's talk. Forgot about that. Anyways.
He's doing his
Yeah.
best.
Well, because Fang is like the perfect emo teen boy.
Yeah.
So he has to
Yes.
be emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
That's
Otherwise,
true.
how would we swoon over him as 14-year-olds ourselves?
Yeah, dark and brooding, but also
great point.
good at talking.
But also in touch with his emotions.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
can't wait to see where that goes.
No, the like 2 notes I have for this chapter are in all caps, what is more important than your baby child, Max? And Nudge overthinks herself to tears. And I feel like that kind of
Aw.
summarizes.
Yeah.
I just wrote, Max is more important than Angel. Brutal.
Yeah. Oh, I just said LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah. They talk about like maybe some of the reasons why Max might not be back yet, and one of them is like maybe she's busy doing something, and then Fang is like she might have gotten hurt by someone because she wouldn't have gotten hurt by herself, and then if she got hurt by somebody, then somebody must know her secret, and we can't let them know our secret. And I'm like, that's extremely astute because that's basically what happened, but also like holy leaps in logic, Batman. Like, how did you come up with that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would have made more sense to be like, maybe she ran into some erasers, so we don't want to also
Right?
fall into a trap, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that would have been a little
Yeah.
more reasonable. Although, maybe, like, I'm wondering if maybe Jeb has, like, instilled purposefully, like, a fear of all people in them.
Yeah,
You
I feel like
know?
that's probably true.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd buy that.
because then it would make sure that they don't go to anyone else for help.
Yeah.
You know? Oh god, I'm so sad.
Yeah.
I'm so sad for these kids.
Oh my god, right? Like, goddamn, someone
Uh,
take care of that. Maybe that's why I like Ella's mom, which we'll get into in a sec, but like,
yeah,
somebody please take care of
Somebody.
the bird child.
take care
Yeah.
of at least one of these children.
At
Just
least
help
one.
them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, before we get into that chapter, let's like I'm sure we'll have so much to say about this Gasman and Iggy chapter, so let's
I
do
have
that
one
next.
thing.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, nothing.
So you go first, Hannah, I guess, by that
Yep.
logic.
Yeah, I guess I noted the dichotomy between Gasman is still feeling like a little conflicted about
Yeah.
having watched a bunch of erasers die by his hand, which is understandable.
Yep.
And then Iggy's reaction is like, well, they're taking dirt naps, so who cares? And it's like,
They're taking
okay, well, we know
Yeah.
where Iggy stands.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there is also the difference where Gasman just said to Iggy, no, they're not getting out, you know, and
Yeah.
then Gasman had to just watch as they burned to death.
Yeah, like he certainly had a worse experience for
Mhm.
sure than Iggy, who just had to hear that they're dead.
Yep. It's kind of weird. I know we've had a bunch of chapters on this exact subject where Iggy and Gasman are trying to not get got by the erasers. But like it does seem kind of weird that the flock doesn't have a plan
Yeah.
for if erasers come to them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like there should have been booby traps in place, but again, Jeb probably never warned them or never thought to teach them that because he wanted them to get caught again.
Yeah, like I guess the plan was just, oh, well, just fly out the side of the house. But then it's like, well, then they know where your house is, though. Where do you go next, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm betting that Max and Fang probably had a bunch of plans, but Max and Fang are gone at the moment.
Do you think they did,
Right?
though?
I feel like they've probably talked about it, because Max is super paranoid.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Maybe it was also Plan C, where it was just Max sacrifices herself.
Yeah,
so everyone else
there's that.
gets out.
Yeah.
That was probably
just
always
the
her
only
plan, yeah.
Yeah.
Plan
for
M.
anything.
Or plan S.
Yeah.
Plan self-sacrifice.
No, it's plan A, just the only plan.
Yeah, true.
Well, at least we get to look forward to the next Gasman and Iggy chapter, where whatever it is, it's risky, and Max will kill them when she finds out. So,
Almost
great.
angry that chapter was so short because I wanted to know what
I
it
wanted
was.
to know.
Yeah.
And it was half a bit like, why are we even bothering to go see Iggy and the Gasman if we're only gonna get a paragraph at a time?
Yeah, I don't know if you do this also, Hannah. I know Sam doesn't write fiction the way we do. But I feel like I always have like a killer chapter end.
Yeah.
Punchy ending, and then like 4 sentences later I'll be like, damn, I have another really punchy chapter end.
Yeah.
and then I just want to make chapters that are this length. So maybe actually she's onto something. The ghostwriter. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally.
But it's so annoying to read. I'm sorry.
It's so annoying.
You mean you're not going to read my book that is just 4 sentences on each page? How could you do this to
Sophie,
me?
I swan to John.
Yeah.
I thought you liked short chapters.
I was just going to say, I do, and I would still read it. I think what annoys me about how short these chapters are is that we are reading them 4 at a time. Rather than many in a row, you know?
As God intended.
As God intended.
Because, like, reading 4 of these chapters is like reading sometimes like half of one of the Aragon ones, or like Midnight Sun when they were like 40 pages, right? So it was like, at least when we were reading those ones, the chapters were fleshing themselves out enough that it didn't feel so jarring, whereas now it's just like, like every time you read, you know, like it's just like you're getting like that half there. I don't know.
Oh my god, Sam,
it's frustrating. Yeah.
Are you saying that my favorite teen book is making you think Midnight Sun is better? Because I've never been more offended in my life.
Only
wow.
Only in the structure of it.
Unbelievable.
I just gotta say, it was much more satisfying when you, like, sat down to read 2 chapters and you actually felt like you read and learned something, whereas this one, it's always like...
Learn something?
Oh yeah, I learned that Edward is terrible. Several times, over and over again.
I'll give you that.
The different ways that Edward Cullen is a terrible person.
I kept learning how many ways I wanted to burn Midnight Sun.
Exactly.
Chapter by chapter.
Anyways.
Okay, I'll allow it.
As an aside, I have my Edward Cullen belongs in jail holographic sticker on one of my travel mugs.
Oh, that's on my laptop. I stare at it now.
I had it at work the other day, and my manager was saying that she saw it out of the corner of her eye in the middle of the meeting and almost burst out laughing because she wasn't expecting it. So
I don't have it on anything, but I'm saving up a bunch of stickers for the next water bottle that I buy. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen for sure.
The most confusing water bottle ever.
Oh my god.
Anyway, let's talk about the last chapter.
Yeah, where there's a competent adult. Oh my god.
I feel bad because I do feel a little bit of the like, oh my god, why is Max still here?
Yeah.
She needs to be getting Angel. Why is she wasting all this time? And then on the other hand, I'm just like, wow, these chapters are so nice.
Yeah. I mean, 2 things can be true at once.
Yeah.
Like, she really needs to get going.
Yep.
Because her baby has been kidnapped and is being tortured, and she's just, like, sitting around eating waffles and thinking about how nice it is to have a mom.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's really sweet. Maybe you can go get Angel and stop back here.
Yeah.
On your way home.
Just bring everyone here, actually.
Yeah. Like, Angel's probably going to need medical care also. Maybe you could bring her here.
I know, I feel like there was something like this vibe in, I forget which one, but at some point in one of the Percy Jackson books, I think it's similar, where it's just like, wow, wouldn't it be nice to just be a kid who didn't have to be the one who rescues the other kid, you know? Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, damn, I wish you could.
I wish you could, but you can't. Like, chop, get to it.
Yeah, can Ella's mom go and maybe
do
it?
Bring down the ethics committee hammer on the school.
Yeah.
Maybe she can call the police and they can go and raid this compound where they experiment on infants and torture children.
Yeah, I think you need to maybe get on Twitter.
Mm.
Start talking about it.
Start talking about it.
Yeah.
What hashtag would be used for that, do you think?
I don't know the school, is that what it's actually called?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, man.
I put us on the spot. I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything that quickly. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, we're gonna come up with something so clever. Just keep an eye out on Twitter 3 weeks from now.
No, absolutely not. Don't put that on us. That's on you.
No, yeah, that's you.
Uh-oh.
See, the problem is that all I can think about is the titles of the other books. I'm like, man, there's probably a joke about schools out, and then it's like, wait, shit.
Yeah,
the other book.
Forever.
That's forever. Yep. School's out forever. Hashtag.
Hashtag take the school out forever. No, that's not good.
Hashtag 2%.
2%
bad science.
2% bad science.
The school gets a 2% grade.
2%.
Anyway. These are all really good.
Should we talk about what bird kids eat for breakfast?
Yeah.
Their healthy, balanced diet.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. Max says it's the first time she has ever felt normal, whilst her second in command and her sister are just kind of waiting around and her other sister is being tortured by mad scientists. But at least Max gets to eat a real breakfast. So there's that. That's great. But we don't find out what, like, the breakfast that she's eating is, but apparently the bird kids just, like, straight up can't cook. And their breakfasts often include things like burned hot dogs, dry cereal, handfuls of peanut butter, or beanie weenies straight from a can.
Ew.
Yeah, like, I'm like, you have a whole house.
Right?
Like, why are you cooking a hot dog over an open flame?
Yeah, like, you have a kitchen.
But does
You
the house have
microwave.
power?
Oh.
Yeah, because they have the internet.
Oh, yeah. The internet.
True.
Shut up.
All capitalized. Yeah, I mean, I'm giving Max a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here because I'm kind of assuming she still can't fly since her wing was shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about her lack of cooking.
No, but like, you know, she's got to eat that breakfast to power up for her wing.
For her energetically expensive.
Yes.
Flying.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did, this is not very exciting. I did just double check how often raptors have to eat. Don't worry. Because she says, listen, I have to eat more than usual as a bird kid.
Yeah.
And it's raptors just eat 2 to 3 times a day. But they do have to eat as much as 20 to 25% of their body weight.
Jeepers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yep.
Especially if you're part human.
Yeah.
Like, if you weigh more than, like, 2 kilograms. That's
exactly. That's a lot of burned hot dogs.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's a lot of peanut butter off of the knife.
Yeah, maybe that's why they don't cook, because they have to eat so frequently, apparently, and, like, so much that it's just too much of an effort. Although you would think if you needed to eat a lot of food, it would be more efficient to, like, make 18 boxes of Kraft Dinner than to just continuously lick a knife of peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's the order that those words go in.
Mm-hmm.
They might also just be scavenging for food, and all that they can get is like non-perishable stuff. So they've never actually
but they can still cook it. Please.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't have a hard time believing that they don't know how to cook. Like,
I do. What else are they doing with their time?
not
Surely one
cooking.
of them will have been like, I bet the food would taste better if we made it warm using this kitchen that we have in our home.
They have to sit around and be traumatized more. Listen.
As a kid that never had any interest in cooking or making food taste good or any of that, honestly, like, I get it. I would probably be the
6
same.
of them. Surely one of them likes to eat things that taste good.
Don't they talk about Iggy cooking?
Iggy cooks. Iggy makes breakfast in, like, the second chapter. Iggy knows how to cook. Why are the rest of them eating burned hot dogs that they cooked on a fucking campfire in their living room?
I think we have identified another continuity issue.
Yeah.
because I forgot that Iggy knew how to cook. So given that information, I believe we have just identified that this book does not hold to its own continuity, and Max might just be over-exaggerating what they've eaten in the past, which, shocking, I know. And probably she's just thinking worst case scenario here because she's just never had food like this good, but it's probably not as bad as she's actually describing it to be, and it's very hyperbolic.
That's fair. Maybe she's just feeling sorry for herself.
That too.
I mean, it's probably that.
Yeah. I was also going to say maybe it's their raptor 2% because the raptors only want to eat raw food.
Right, so they don't cook their food.
Oh,
because
they don't want to.
That's a better hypothesis than mine.
I gotta rip the head off this hot dog.
I murdered this jar of peanut butter and I have to eat it.
I feel like that would... Okay, now I'm enjoying myself imagining the situation where, like, their instincts are all jumbled up in the morning, and one of them will, like, sleepily walk into the kitchen and, like, stare at the jar of peanut butter without moving for a few minutes, and then pounce on it, and then just, like, start digging in there with his spoon while the other kids are like, yeah, nice. You got it.
Iggy is like mid-flipping an egg and someone just kicks it out of the air. Feet first.
Yeah. Like lunges from across the room.
Yeah.
And he's like, damn it, I can't see them like staring at it. Like, how am I supposed to know they're gonna do that?
Bangs in the rafters, just like launches himself down feet first. Okay, I like that. That's
that's good.
I like it. I choose to believe that this is the case.
Angel just terrifyingly, just like in a corner, staring at a can of beans.
Right?
Oh god. She's gonna pounce.
Perched on the back of like a chair. Not like a living room chair, not a kitchen chair.
Either one.
Thank you for clarifying. Was important to me.
Yeah. She's the only one probably who can turn her head fully 360 degrees like an owl.
Yeah, because she's creepy.
Creepy! The small angelic child. I am concerned about it.
Yeah, trips my uncanny valley somehow.
Sure does. Sure does. Don't like it.
Don't like it at all.
Anyway, to get back to this chapter.
Yeah.
I appreciate that Ella's mom doesn't like pry.
Yeah.
But also, I'm like, man, Max, it would be, you could probably actually, like, Max is very specifically being like, I can't tell her anything. And I'm like, there could be some things you could probably tell her that would be helpful, actually.
Yeah.
You know?
Just a few things.
But again, it's the Zeb-related trauma.
Zeb.
Sorry. I was thinking about
Star Wars.
Oh my god. You come to my house.
I'm not in your house.
My podcast house of Maximum Ride. I built this house of Maximum Ride books.
We built this city out of Maximum Ride. What's his name? Jeb?
Jeb.
I completely blanked and I was like, yeah, Zeb is a character in a media that I consume for sure. Now I've forgotten what I was saying.
What are you
I'm a little embarrassed.
Well, what I wanted to say is that it is implied at the end that the reason Max doesn't want to talk about it is because of the trauma.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
But it sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah.
Also, there's the implication that like a lot of what was rough about it is because she has 2% bird genes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because it says, you think being a regular teenager with growing pains is hard? Try doing it with DNA that's not your own, not even from a mammal. And I was like, okay, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Well, what happened?
She probably has body dysmorphia. If she
Whoa.
mostly thinks that she's a human, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a great point. Yep. I was thinking, like, I tried to Google what are the side effects of... I didn't Google side effects of genetic recombination. But I did look up, like, okay, well, what are some of the side effects of, like, gene therapy? You know, where you're getting foreign DNA. Because, again, they weren't recombined before birth. They were recombined after.
Somehow.
Yeah.
somehow, which I guess would have to be through gene therapy of some kind. And guys, gene therapy could have some real messed up side effects.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can have just like an immune reaction that can just cause organ failure.
That makes sense.
And there's a lot of like, well, it can just cause cancer. Just straight up. You're introducing foreign DNA and you don't know how it's going to react if it goes into the wrong cell.
Sense.
Yeah. Yep. Or, yeah, well, the other one is like, if you use a virus as a vector, it could just regain its ability to be the virus. So, anyway, based on all of that, I'm like, man, were they having to go through like chemo and life support surgeries and therapies to try and keep them alive? I bet
probably
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so.
That might also be related to why Angel's number 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Gruesome.
Also, like, if you're like, okay, assuming I'm making a lot of assumptions, but we have to here.
Yeah.
Assuming this is being done by gene therapy or like plasmids introducing DNA, it's like, man, you couldn't fucking cure, I don't know, lactose intolerance first or celiac.
That would have been nice.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe we don't know that they didn't do that first.
That's true.
But
also, if we assume that this is for a military application, they're not doing it for the betterment of humanity.
No. And I don't trust that they know how to do science well enough to solve any actual real problems.
Okay, but to be fair, they did successfully make 8 bird kids. 8?
Yeah.
6.
At first I was going to say, oh yeah, they didn't create them all the same, but I mean, they kind of did. They all just have different kind of powers, I guess. But they're all bird
I think the
kids.
powers aren't on purpose either.
No, I know.
I don't really know where the powers were fit in.
As much as they suck at science, yes, they did successfully create bird kids.
I guess.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine. I'll give them that one.
It's the one positive thing we'll say about them. They did
one
actually
thing.
do it.
Somehow, clearly, despite their best efforts to fuck it up. Because they seem to be determined to ruin it.
I still stand by that on the creation of them. They were just testing one at a time and not doing proper reproducibility, which is probably better for the children. Not. And they probably just happened upon success that happened to be within the statistical distribution at which they were like studying. And they just got lucky that it wasn't an outlier, and that's how it went. So probably still bad science, but they got lucky.
Yeah. You know what? I bet they commissioned these bird kids from somewhere else that does equally unethical but better science.
Maybe.
And they're like, we want this. And they're like, okay, we made it and we have delivered it. And they're like, great, we're gonna do some weird shit with these experiments you made for us.
So, they contracted out the bird kids. Yeah. And then they're trying to do it, yeah.
Yeah, and then each bird kid was one of the deliverables.
Wow.
Oh, that's terrible!
Oh, man. Yuck indeed.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Max's cool biology that she mentions for us in this chapter?
Yeah.
To give us something like a little more positive? Maybe?
Sure. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. She says, her bones are thin, she has extra muscles, her lungs are bigger, and her heart is more efficient, and she needs to eat a lot.
I think these are all things we guessed already.
We did.
Go us.
We're amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely has air sacs that expand into her bones.
Yeah, which is why they're thin and her lungs are different.
Yeah.
Or bigger.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't really looked into any of the like heart stuff. Mm-hmm. It is literally just a coincidence that a few days ago I went on a deep dive on Secretariat, the horse.
Okay.
And one of the main things about him is that Secretariat's like the perfect horse, right? He was the most perfect horse to ever exist or whatever. Yeah. And one of the things about him is that he had like a bigger heart than more horses, and that's why they think he was so good. One of the reasons at running.
Okay.
At being a horse, a racing horse.
Sure.
Of course, on top of all the other perfect alignment of bones or whatever the hell he had.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what I'm basing this making sense off of.
Yeah. Flying is energetically expensive, but also it's like
Yeah.
a cardio activity, right? Like they would need
Yeah.
to. I had just been operating under the assumption that they were just like really cardiac fit.
Sure.
It
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High cardiac fitness. Is
Yeah.
that the way to say that?
Sure.
I just assumed they were in really good shape. I'm gonna stop.
There you go. I do think normally like having a larger heart is actually not a good thing in humans. Like I think you genuinely don't really want a bigger heart. But then I guess I guess there must be like a window where it's good. If it's good in horses. I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's the 2% bird part of them, right? Like
I feel like we keep putting a lot of it's the 2% bird, and there's not enough 2% to account for everything. I agree with you. I agree with you. I was gonna say the same thing, but I feel like we keep using that, and I'm like, I feel like we've gone over our 2%.
I feel like it should have been like 20%.
Yeah, I'm gonna embarrass myself, but isn't it like there isn't actually that much difference between genes in like animals?
Yes.
Again, I am not an expert in this field, but I don't think there's a large difference.
Like
there's
aren't humans and chimpanzees basically the same? And so then I would assume we're just going to embarrass ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know enough about this to confidently say anything.
Yeah, what I'm just trying to say is that I think when it comes to genes, a 2% difference could actually be a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of functional genes, like in your development, like hawks, because we're talking about like the development of genes, essentially. Yeah. And so I do think oh no.
Sorry.
HOX. That's what I meant. Okay.
Oh, my headphones just died.
Good. Damn, she couldn't even hear my sick burn. Sam remembers what we were talking about, right?
I hope so. We were talking about how animals' DNA actually isn't that much different, so a 2% change could be a lot. And I just want to say my point was just that we just kept going back to the 2%. That's our excuse. That's all. I don't know enough about genes to actually account for if we've used the full 2% or not. It was more just me making a comment.
Much like magic in the Aragon
universe.
We're just gonna attribute the 2% to everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's fair though, because humans and chimps, which are like two very closely related species, have almost 99% the same DNA.
This is what
this is
But I still feel like 2% is not enough.
Maybe we'll find out later.
But I think moral of it is a larger heart in these bird kids is not going to affect them the same way it might actually kill a human if they had the same size heart.
Hell yeah. I can get behind that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement to make.
Amazing.
Uh-huh.
Well, perhaps we'll find out more in later chapters, and therefore we should guess what's going to happen in the next chapters.
Yep.
How's that for a segue?
Great. You
Brilliant.
Nailed it. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to read the first sentence and you guys got to guess what's happening.
Let's go.
Chapter 41. Dr. Martinez looked distressed.
Yeah.
So probably Max saying things and Dr. Martinez not liking it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I feel like it's reasonable that Dr. Martinez should look distressed.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Reasonable.
Yep.
Great. Okay, chapter 42. The look of comprehending horror that rose in my face alarmed Dr. Martinez.
Okay.
Is that
same thing.
Comprehending horror? Dawning horror?
This is just a continuation. The other chapter can't have been that long then. Oh my God,
can't believe we're going to get 3 Max chapters in a row, I guess.
Whoa.
Wow.
Maybe more.
If only they had just put them all in one chapter, like a normal person would do.
If only.
Right.
Chapter 43.
Uh-huh.
Nudge, for the last time, give this up.
Aww.
Okay. Fang is trying to convince Nudge not to be completely illogical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's almost like each of these chapters could be summarized with one sentence.
Uh-huh.
Pretty easily.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Strange. It's gonna be a great episode next.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Chapter 44. Nudge jackknife to her feet.
Oh. Her feet?
Jackknife to her feet.
Jackknife to her feet.
Did
Fang like punch her out of the sky? Like
what?
I think it means like, you know, like a Swiss Army knife where it like pops open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean she like jumped up to her feet real fast?
Mm-hmm.
It must be that, yeah.
But like, why is she lying down? She was flying in the last chapter.
Maybe Fang was able to
tackle her,
calm her down, talk some sense into her, or maybe that's it. Maybe Fang tackled her down, and then she's like coming up from being on the ground from the tackle. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's about to be like, "What the heck, Fang? That was so uncool."
Yeah, for sure.
What did people say in 2004?
That was totally not cool beans.
Totally not cool.
Oh, cool beans.
So random, lols.
That was so random. And then you do the XD face. Anyway.
I hate this.
Okay, before we embarrass ourselves even more, let's talk about what else we're reading.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't read anything.
That's fair.
I don't think I had finished the Evie Dunmore series on the last one, but I have now. And that's about it. I guess the only other book-related thing I would like to promo is the If Books Could Kill podcast, which I have been listening to a lot of on repeat.
Yeah, it's a good podcast.
It's really good.
Sophie got me into it.
Yeah. I listened to the Pickup Artist one, the game,
I hate
with
that
with my dad and my aunt in the car.
Oh, I mean, I loved it, but I hated it.
So rough, but also so good.
Rough. Yeah.
And what's great about it is that I don't feel like I have to read these books.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Anyway, those are my 2 book-related things.
Nice.
What about you guys?
I am a bit more successful, but I do have to say, unfortunately, I am still reading Rhythm of War. But I made it to page 1029 today.
Whoa.
I have 200 pages left, which is still a whole ass book.
That is a lot.
It's a lot. Other than that, I also just started A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsp, which is our April Midlight Book Club book of the month. Sorry, pause there. Didn't sure I was saying things right. Anyways, and then I'll just shout out a few that I finished because they were really good, and I didn't get to talk to them, and I think people should read them. First is The Six Deaths of the Saint by Alex E. Haro, which is literally a 50-page like short story released through Amazon. It's phenomenal. Everyone should read it. It's great. And then I read The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi, which is by Shannon Chakrabarty, who wrote The City of Brass, the Dagobah trilogy. I hope I said all of that right. Anyways, it's about a lady pirate, and it's fantastic. Again, everyone should read it. It's so good.
I'm so glad to hear that it's good.
Oh my god, it's phenomenal. Like, easily my favorite book this year so far.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's so good. And then I read a novella by Carissa Broadbent, which is The Six Scorched Roses, which is part of her Vampire Crowns of Nyaxia world. Great. Loved it. Big fan. So they were all 5-star reads. Everyone should read them. And I just wanted to make sure they got some attention. That's all. Hannah?
Me. I just wanted to mention the 2 books that I'm currently reading, which are Paris Dalencourt is About to Crumble by Alexis Hall, which is like the companion to Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake, which was one of our previous book club books. And I'm listening to Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, which is a like literary fiction, kind of Frederick Backman-y, but also it has POV chapters from a giant Pacific octopus that lives in an aquarium.
Whoa.
So that's kind of fun.
That's fun.
Who's that by?
Shelby Van Pelt.
Okay, I think I'm getting it confused with the Tracy Chevalier book, but
It's her debut novel. It just came out last year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've probably seen it around. I know the book
Yeah.
cover. I've seen the book cover around a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that like took off.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has like a really high average rating on Goodreads, and
Wow.
I also feel like it's going to be a 5-star read once I'm done.
Cool.
So that's a good
Love
one.
it.
Also, hey guys, this episode comes out in May. Do any of you remember what we're reading in May for our book club?
I think I do.
I had to look it up because I had forgotten.
It's
What is it, Sam?
The Preservation of Kaiju Society or something.
Yeah. The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, it sounds fun. If you liked this chapter of Midlight Crisis, consider rating and reviewing us on Spotify or your podcatcher of choice. You can talk to us and find fun-related content on social media. We are at Midlight Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Tumblr, and all chapters of the show thus far are available on our website, midlightpod.podbean.com, and on YouTube.
And nudge, much like when one of us suggests a book ban and the 2 days later is at a bookstore. I'm going down and you can't stop me.
Yeah.
This is Hannah every time.
Shut up.
Every time.
Sam and I know better than to suggest book bans.
I've given up.